Hello, and welcome to another episode of Answering Anti-Islam. So, just as a little side note before I actually read the transcript, I want everyone to know that there is a reason that I'm putting this series together. I don't see very much pro-Islamic stuff, especially in the US, on the web, as much as I do on anti-Islam and people making false claims about it on websites. Well, one of my favorite websites, actually, is thereligionofpeace.com because it's so simple to do a little bit of research and find out that they're liars with pants on fires. So on this episode, Minnesota 4.5, doing the research, I'm going to show you how simple it is to use resources to acquire a reasonable explanation. My concept of the Minnesota is twofold. One is that it's either some short little video I'm doing, or two, it's something kind of superfluous to the main theme of the series, which is debunking people. One of my favorite misinformed websites, as I mentioned, is thereligionofpeace.com, and it claims the Islamic belief in Jesus alayhi salam is a myth. There's a link to the claim in the description box. They have some long-winded explanation to this, such as, and I quote, "The Jesus alayhi salam of the Quran is the same character but not the same person. He doesn't say the same things, nor does he do much except refute Christian beliefs and affirm Muhammad's sallallahu alaihi wasallam claims about himself. The Quran agrees with the Bible account of the virgin birth of Jesus alayhi salam and his return, but not his resurrection. In fact, it even denies that he was crucified, which runs counter to all historical evidence." So be that as that may, and in some cases they're right, but in other cases they're wrong, because there are Muslims called the Ahmadiyya, and they do believe Jesus alayhi salam was crucified. So straight away assumptions are made that all Muslims believe the same thing, and we do not. This is something I feel it always boils down to. So you can use a resource like Wikipedia to start your journey, although some consider it a faulty source because, and this is what I commonly hear, quote, "anyone can edit it." Wikipedia is a fine resource in my eyes. It has improved over the years, and articles are only alterable by certain people. Of course, one source and one interpretation isn't enough. So here below you'll find links to the Ahmadiyya's own website about the crucifixion. And then there's another Ahmadiyya website where, again, they talk about the crucifixion of Jesus alayhi salam. The Ahmadiyya claim this verse in the Quran proves the crucifixion. Quote, "And for their saying, we did slay the Messiah, Jesus alayhi salam, son of Mary, the messenger of Allah, whereas they slew him not, nor did they bring about his death upon the cross, but it was made to appear to them like one crucified. And those who differ therein are certainly in a state of doubt about it. They have no certain knowledge thereof, but pursue only a conjecture, and they did not arrive at a certainty concerning it. On the contrary, Allah exalted him to himself, and Allah is mighty wise." So obviously you can interpret this different ways. I personally don't see how it can be interpreted that way, but we're talking about mainstream Islam here. And the Ahmadiyya believe that he was crucified. Be that as it may, this claim is also denying the fact that Jesus alayhi salam is considered the Messiah of the Jews by the Muslims. That is the same thing Christians believe. Muslims also believe in the gospel or the Injil he preached. However, it is believed that parts of the current version of the Bible were corrupted, and in fact they are. The Bible is really a collection of prophetic works put together by the Catholic Church. Originally, these works didn't seamlessly transition, and for a good reason. They weren't meant to. Therefore, scribes added things to tie in overall themes. Here's more from thereligionofpeace.com. Quote, notice that in chapter 5, 116, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam conjures up a future conversation in which Allah will ask Jesus if he told people to worship him and his mother Mary as gods, and Jesus denies that he could ever say such a thing. It is also significant that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam confuses Mary, peace be upon her, as a member of the Trinity. Okay, so they cite 5:116. Let's read 5:116. And remember when Allah will say on the day of resurrection, O Isa, alayhi salam, son of Maryam, may God be pleased with her, did you say unto men, worship me and my mother as two gods beside Allah? He will say, glory be to you. It was not for me to say what I had no right to say. Had I said such a thing, you would surely have known it. You know what is in my inner self, though I do not know what is in yours. Truly, you, only you, are the all-knower of all that is hidden and unseen. Never did I say to them aught except what you, Allah, did command me to say. Worship Allah, my Lord and your Lord. And I was a witness over them while I dwelt amongst them. But when you took me up, you were the watcher over them, and you are a witness to all things. So, yeah, I don't see how that mixes up Mary as part of the Trinity. As a former Catholic, I can tell you that we did actually pray to Mary and venerate her. She may not be part of the Trinity concept, but is held as the Mother of God. When you actually read the text, it's simply the Quranic view of Christianity illustrated with Jesus and Mary, peace be upon them. For the website's claim to work, you have to not read the Quran and also know absolutely nothing about Islam. And the Quran is an obvious source to use when reading these claims. TheReligionOfPeace.com then goes on to say, quote, while they are in hell, good Muslims, presumably including Jesus, will mock them while they are being tortured and ask where their Lord is. And again, you go through their translations and they're slightly off. Of course, as I did, you can compare this with other translations, but you'll notice it certainly doesn't substantiate the claim, especially when you consider Muslims believe God will judge between everyone, including Muslims and non-Muslims. The kicker is, the source they cite on their own website simply points to the website's own translation of what they're talking about. You'll notice it's different from other translations just slightly. Using your own web page as a citation for your web page is crazy, and some people think Wikipedia is bad. They get away with this because they're exploiting the ignorance of the audience. They're betting you won't spend a few minutes out using outside sources to check on their claims. But when their source doesn't jive with other sources, there's obviously a problem. As someone who does research regularly, it astounds me that anyone could believe in something like this. What's worse is all this misinformation is being spread around. It's spread around YouTube, Facebook, and the like, and they seem to tout more anti-Islamic material than anything truthful. The biggest problem? Nobody ever thinks to actually ask a Muslim. What's even better is, some of these people have a misunderstanding of the concept of taqiyya, and believe all Muslims lie about Islam. This notion, of course, insulates the other claims made. Basically, it's their "I'm the mirror, you're the glue" strategy. This is the educated, scholarly thing to do, is to check sources. If you don't, regardless of what position you take on a subject, you will not have enough information for your argument. Thus, like Zecharia Sitchin using his own Sumerian translations to argue for ancient aliens, thereligionofpeace.com uses its own altered translations of the Quran and Hadith to suit their own needs. Like Sitchin, who never had any formal training in languages, those running the religionofpeace.com clearly have no formal training in comparative religion, otherwise they would have better arguments. For example, they would know that the Quran has essentially Gnostic parts of the Bible in it, and that there were other books not contained in the Bible that don't substantiate the crucifixion claim. Anytime you hear a claim, do what we've just done. Verify it with multiple sources and see how the claim measures up. This can be found in almost every controversial claim out there, from the musings of Zeitgeist to claims man never landed on the moon. Thank you for joining us for this minisode. Stay tuned for our next episode. You can check out our previous episode for more material along these lines called Answering Anti-Islam, Smart People, Dumb Conclusions.